Hello everybody and welcome along to the grand finale of the 24-hour series powered by Hankook for 2022. KUWAIT Motortown is a new venue, the 23rd different racetrack that the Creventic series has raced on down through the years. And this event provides a bridge into next season as it's the first round of the new Middle East Trophy, which will also have rounds at the 24 Hours of Dubai and the 6 Hours of Abu Dhabi early in 2023. But before all that, 12 hours of racing here, from daylight through twilight into darkness, and that will decide the 2022 champions. The series has a special attraction to the drivers and the teams. Many of them have been competing for years, and some have done 50 races or more.
It's just the fun, it's the emotions. It's like a day to day. You drive on track, it's race day. And then the tension builds up, and then we do all the preparations to bring the car out, and Harry puts on his, then we have the big competition who's going to do the start together over no alcohol here, but usually over lots of alcohol. And then we come here and then one of us starts, and it's the build-up of the pressure, and then the race begins. We know everybody here because we've been a long time entering into the Creventic races. Yeah, it's fun, it's big family, and then it's competition. Huh?
It's not just the series that's so special. This track is a complete novelty to almost all of the drivers. KUWAIT Motortown is the Persian Gulf State's first permanent motorsport venue. It opened in 2019 and the Grand Prix track is FIA Grade 1 rated, designed by world-renowned architect Hermann Tilke. It runs anti-clockwise. It's 5.6 kilometres or 3.5 miles of exhilarating driving pleasure, 20 corners and a 1.075 kilometre long straight.
You know, it adds to the excitement for me, right? Because obviously when you're as old as we are, we've run a lot of racetracks, so it's rare that you get to come to a new track. So, you know, I found some YouTube videos from somebody, and then, you know, when we got here, obviously we were able to do the rental car rides. I'm sorry for the rental car ride, but yeah, it's great. The track is phenomenal, right? Absolutely fun. You know, it's one of those tracks that we have a lot of fun at, and, you know, we love it.
It is, yeah, it's a very technical track, and a lot of blind apexes, closing radiuses, very flat, so it's hard to find the right positioning as far as where you are on track and find your marks. No, it's a very cool track, actually. They did a really nice job. Just the construction quality and the design layout, the whole structure is great. So very much looking forward to running here.
We have high-speed corners, medium-speed corners, slow-speed corners. It's amazing. The track, it's amazing.
I think it's a spectacular track. I think it's maybe one of the best layouts I've been driving. We need a little bit more of running time to get some grip on the track, but I think it's a special place to be. I really like it.
This track is actually incredibly technical and flowing. It's a great credit to this country. It's a fantastic circuit.
Yes, it's very technical because you have really fast approaching entries, so you have to position the car really right. If you not have the good position, then it's difficult to make the corner.
So here is the challenge that awaits the teams and drivers. 3 sectors, 20 corners, very technical on the infield of this KUWAIT Motortown track. Coming out of turn 20 to start the lap, the first part of the lap is fairly straightforward. Get up through the gears and it's flat out across the start finishing line, up over 220 kilometres an hour. That's well over 130 miles an hour. Through turn 1 it's a slight lift for the GT3 cars, slightly downhill with the pit lane exit coming in on the right hand side into a downhill braking area at turn 2, which is a little bit banked and then immediately starts to climb. Up over the top of the rise, commit for turns 3 and 4 before you can see them. And that's a significant drop as you head into Sector 2. 5 and 6, 2 left-handers. The locals call this patience, and that's what you've got to have to keep the car tucked onto the inside before you flick to the right at 7. Then let the car breathe and pull it back for the apex at turn 8. Through the S's of 8, 9, 10 and 11 into a part of the circuit which is called the Pentagon. 5 apices inspired by Istanbul Park Formula 1 circuit, and this is a crucial part of the track. Keep the speed up right through 16 and 17. Nail that curb on the right-hand side before you start braking for the left-hander at turn 18. Once again, slightly uphill and setting you up all the way on the right-hand side of the track for the short run to turn 19. Really important here to take as much speed as you can as you charge over the top of the brow down to the heavy braking area for the left-hander at 20. That's downhill as well. Pit lane entry on the right, but that's not bothering us as we head towards the line. 1 lap, 11 left-handers, 9 to the right, 3.5 miles repeated for 12 hours. Before the race, it's time to go qualifying. 3 parts, 15 minutes each. 3 drivers per team go out to qualify, and their fastest lap go towards the team's average, which then sets their pole position time for each class. Current problems in global transport and logistics meant a few cars and some equipment has not arrived in time at the circuit, so many teams haven't had proper time for testing and setup. And in fact, some of them couldn't use the qualifying session at all because their cars were still on the way to the track. The organisers have decided to postpone qualifying into the evening to give as many teams as possible the chance to get some fast qualifying laps. Both divisions, GT and TCE, on track at the same time. There'll be a bit of traffic. It's not going to be easy to get a clean lap. First, we'll have a look at TCE, and in third, a well-known team from the 24H series, number 116, the RS3 Audi of Wolf Power Racing. Second best of the qualifiers for TCE, another TCR Audi and a very experienced team. It's the number 188 of AC Motorsport. And once again, at the front of the TCE division is Team BBR. The all-Thai team of drivers in their Cupra Leon competition have proved almost impossible to beat this year, and their ambition is to capture the overall title. With best lap times in all 3 sessions, it's not too difficult for us to work out who has the best lap time. It's much closer in the fight for pole in the GT division. Tiny margins, 50 hundredths of a second, separate third to first. And in third, making their 50th appearance in the 24H series, the American endurance racing veterans of CP Racing in their AMG GT3. When the averages are worked out, CP are only 3/100ths of a second off the front row. That's a good starting position, and they know that an endurance race isn't won in qualifying. The fierce battle for pole position is evolving in the Kuwait Desert Night. The Dutch team, GP Elite with their number 32 Porsche, is charging extremely hard and putting down fast lap times. Second spot on the grid is their reward, a great starting position for tomorrow. One team is even faster than the others. The local heroes of Team Kuwait by MRS with their red and blue Porsche 992 GT3R. It's the number 47 that will be on pole position. Zayed Ashkanani puts down the overall fastest time with a 1:52.111. Team Kuwait by MRS will start in the coveted first position. The Porsche 992 category is always closely contested. Pole sitter this time is the number 955 from Vili Motorsport by EB Motors. A fantastic performance in qualifying, and they beat the Dutch Breukers family by 900ths of a second. Number 714, Razun Morthan Racing, have secured the pole position in the GTX class with the only KTM Crossboard GTX on the grid. And last but not least, it's Century Motorsport in their Aston Martin AMR GT4 who come out on top in the GT4 class. After the excitement and competitive nature of qualifying, it's straight into night practice. For many of the teams, this is a very welcome extra test session as some of the cars arrived slightly late to the circuit. For For some of the amateur drivers, this will be their first time driving in darkness in race trim. Well, the track does have some lighting. Full throttle through the night, hardly seeing any reference points around the circuit. That's exactly what gives this 12-hour race its special feel and character. So night practice then, crucial for the drivers. They need to get used to racing with headlights and get familiar with the more dimly lit areas of the track. It's Friday and the big day has arrived. The grand finale of the 24-hour series presented by Hankook, just a few moments away. The coveted trophies on the front of the grid. Lots of nervous energy and excitement in the air with the mechanics and drivers checking every last detail.
It's been a dream since this track opened like 3 years ago to ever race here. Thank you guys, it made it happen. The best way to start is on pole, I guess. Throughout the world, people don't know about our track, and I'm so happy every driver feedback is awesome about this track. So this is the start to something that will not finish, hopefully. I do radicals, so it's only sprint races, and one endurance, which is only 45 minutes. So this is a big step, and it's also my first endurance. So looking forward and learning from my teammates.
The biggest challenge for many of the teams was to find the ideal setup of the cars on a brand new circuit without having had much time for testing.
Yeah, it was of course a bit difficult with the short time we had to learn the track, but I think we managed the time quite well, and I think we got the maximum out of it.
But when you have a real passion for endurance racing, there's no challenge that can't be overcome.
Finally, the car made it in late last night at around 11 o'clock at night. So unpacked the container, set up the garage, prepped the car. The Liper team literally worked through the night. So for them, it's a 24-hour race. They started, working on the car almost 12 hours ago, plus this 12-hour race. But yeah, they did a fabulous job, and we took it out this morning, and it's running beautifully. Now we just need to get the pace, figure out the track, and it's a 12-hour race.
It's an incredible race, and obviously the organizers are obviously, as you know, super nice, and the events are great. We go all over the world, we get to see all kinds of different stuff, and it's endurance racing, and that's what we love.
So thanks to the team, they give a perfect car all the time, and also my teammate, they all fast, so it's easy for strategy. Yeah.
Competitive endurance racing, not just fun and passion. Strategy and tactics play a vital role in a 12-hour race. A wrong decision or unavoidable mistakes can turn dreams into nightmares very quickly. Weeks or even months of work can all go to nothing in a jiffy.
It just, you start, and after 12 hours, the guy who did the most laps, the team who did the most, the wins. And I mean, trouble can find you, or you can find trouble yourself. I've seen that this is the first race here, real race, and the people who have to tow you out of the problems are not as fast as we're used to in the European tracks. So that will be a challenge to stay out of that, as you do in Europe as well. But here it will take much longer to bring you out. We saw this during Code 60, during the free practice. There was a TCR over there in the gravel. It took them what, 15 minutes to get out. Wait. If it takes you 15 minutes out of the race, then during a 12-hour race you're done. Because it's that competitive. Creventic is a very competitive field.
We'll do our best. What is incredible, I mean, the 992 class is so strong. There's so many fast cars. We've got a fast car, but there's 3-4 other fast cars in the class. So, I mean, I think it's going to be close. We're going to have to be quick in the pits. And then if we're quick in the pits, the race will come to us, I think.
5 Porsches in the top 8, 2 of them on the front row. Team KUWAIT by MRS have pole, Team GP Elite are alongside them. First of the AMGs, a CP Racing chasing the championship in third, with the Lamborghini Huracan of ARC Bratislava alongside them. Then the best of the 992 Cup cars, Vili Motorsport by EB Motors and Red Camel Jordan will be battling them through the race in 6th position. Razun More Than Racing have the GTX pole sitter in 7th, and Rabdan Motorsport make up the top 8. The cars are on their warm-up lap. This is the 23rd different venue to hold a Hankook 24-hour series race. A brand new challenge for all of our teams and drivers. 12 hours to come. They're lining up, coming down towards turn 20. Red lights go out. Oh, it's a long hold. And we're still not racing. We are now. Oh, what a jump from row number 2 by the ARC Bratislava Huracan. Mikulascu comes through into second position through the very fast left-hand king into turn 1. Now down the hill to turn 2. Can that Lamborghini outbrake our pole sitter? The Porsche still holding on to it. Zayadash Kanani defends a little bit to the middle of the road into the left-hander. Up the hill from turn 2. Now into that blind left, right, left chicane complex. Top 3 absolutely together. There's quite a bit of up and down on this circuit. Into patience for the first time. The KTM making positions around the outside. 1, 2, 3 across the track in front of the Porsche Cayman as they head into turn number 7. That's the right-hander they're coming to now. That's one of the TCR cars that he had ahead of him. The leaders then. Still that number 47 for Team Kuwait, then ARC, then GP Elite trying down the inside. What a start to this race. You would not think this is a brand new track. Remember, none of these drivers have seen this track in competitive form before. Pole sitter then just easing maybe a length or a couple of lengths away as they finish the first lap of racing. Further back in the field, can see 1 or 2 other battles beginning to develop. Change for the lead. ARC Bratislava and the Lamborghini have gone through. So the pole sitter now in second. GP Elite in third. Oh, there's a problem for the leader. The right rear has gone, turning into turn 1. That was an extremely scary moment there. But somehow the driver has hung onto it. A brilliant catch. But now we'll have to limp all the way back to the pit lane for service. Well, that's been a very slow but very good lap back in because there's hardly any damage done to the right rear of that Lamborghini. Zayadash Kanani then of Team Kuwait by MRS back in the lead. That means Team GP Elite now up into second position. And the 2 Porsches then stretching away from the rest of the field. It's been a change for lead in TCE. Mathieu Dutré in the AC Motorsport Audi number 188 has got past Kantadi Kasiri from Team BBR. That was the pole sitting car. That's now in second, so it's the black and blue car that leads. Let's see if Kasiri can stay up with the quick Belgian. 992 Porsche Cup class, the multicoloured number 955, just ahead of the QMMF by HRT Thuraya Kata machine. That's Kim Andrea Hauschild in the maroon and white car, entered by the Kata Motorsport and Motorcycling Federation. Oh, and they've had to go either side of the Lamborghini, and that's got another problem. That's the Huracan slow again, and through goes Hauschild on Sabino de Castro. That's a change of position. Back with the overall leaders. They're coming through traffic now. I think Groneveld, Lucas Groneveld in the GP Elite car is just closing down a little bit on Ashkanani. The Vortex has slowed down the leader. Here's an opportunity for that bright orange car. He's coming from a long way back down the inside on the dirty part of the track. That's a change of position. Groneveld with a brilliant piece of overtaking. And now Team GP Elite have clear track ahead of them. More problems for the ARC Bratislava. Is that their third problem on the right rear? Back to the pits again and holding up the 188 AC Motorsport car. That's the battle for the TCE and TCR lead. BBR getting a little advantage there. And problems for one of the TCR cars. That's the 116 Audi in the pit. their splitter has been hitting the ground. Yasmin Preissig very worried that they've got problems so early on.
Oh, we don't know exactly, but the driver said we have so much vibration on the car when we drive the straight, and now they have to fix it. We don't want to lose something. Now we have to look if it's better. I hope.
Well, sad to say that Yasmin's hopes have not been fulfilled. The car back in the pits and being taken apart for some troubleshooting. It's an awful start to the race. 992 class, second position, still QMMF holding that position. The multicoloured car is in third. That's the Veely Motors car. A puncture, another right rear puncture, and at the similar part of the track. That's high speed, high danger. Debris on the track means a code 60 for our hard-working marshalling team to clean up the circuit. Code 60, of course, means 60 kilometres an hour on the track and no overtaking. Much safer to allow the marshals to do their job in those conditions. Battle for second position overall. Charles Esplanade closing down on Zaid Ashkanani in the Porsche number 47. The leader is the orange car just ahead of them. Down to turn 2. Don't think he's going to make it round the outside. Cuts back to the left. Now gets the inside for the chicane. That's a super piece of driving by the American. Showed all his class and experience there. New second place car, CP Racing. Down to third for the number 47. Dan van Gogh in the lead in the GP Elite car. Probably can see the new second place car in his mirrors. He's got just under 3 seconds of a lead. He's in behind the number 44 ARC Bratislava machine. Well, I thought I'd seen everything in my years in motor racing, but this is a new one for me. That's not an inspection hatch. That's the leading edge of the bonnet of the QMMF number 929 Porsche. It's popped up somehow. Unplanned pit stop for Kim Andre Hauschild. The mechanics go to work. Oh, that's no way to treat a Porsche, lads. Oh, thank goodness. A bit of race tape. That's better. Put the hammer away. Not sure the driver knows what's going on, to be honest. The leader is still GP Elite's Porsche number 32. The orange and white machine, though, has been closed in on by CP Racing. Just on a second now. Oh, well, that's changed, of course, the moment I mentioned it, because into the pits for a scheduled service comes the CP Racing machine. Charles Esplanade out of the car. This is drama for the leader. The 32 Porsche going very slowly for Dan van Gogh. Team GP Elite. And it looks like another problem to the right rear. Yes, it is. They've got a full set of Hankook tyres to go on that machine. Down towards the service station area. He'll take fuel as well, but this is a blow to their hopes of the victory. So it's Zaid Ashkanani now back in the lead for the Team KUWAIT by MRS Porsche. He'll have to come into the pits soon. He's been in there, nearly 100 minutes now. Brilliant run to second position by the Milwaukee Tools KTM Crossbow. Looking fabulous in that dark red and white colour scheme, the 714. They're actually a GTX class car, so leading their class as well. They had a spin at the start of the race. And there's just a little bit of evidence of that misdemeanor on the nose of the car, but they've been brilliant since then.
Yeah, it was a bit of action in the start. I tried to go wide, but yeah, there was a lot of mud on the track, so I spun, and then I tried to push hard and came back.
Third position overall is another class leader, the 992 Porsche, the 909 number, Luke Breukers, the youngest of the Breukers family in this car, and he is doing a marvellous job right now. The Liebert Lamborghini's off the track at turn 4. Oh, no, hang on, that wasn't just a mistake. It's going slowly. This is going to be another right tyre issue. Yes, it is. I wonder if this is something to do with this new track. Brilliant job again to get it back to the pits without damaging any of the rear bodywork on the bright green and black 710. And now the other Lamborghini has a problem. ARC Bratislava My goodness me, what is going on out there? And now it's the second issue at the right rear for Porsche number 47, our pole-sitting car. They were in second position in the race. Let's head down to Miro Konopka in the ERC pit.
It's not easy because I don't know, but if we have 3 puncture for 30 minutes and I run really very soft, I don't touch curbs or very soft, and after 1 hour 90 minutes also puncture every time same, rear right, maybe not very well construction tire for this temperature and this circuit. This circuit is really very hard for rear right tires. A lot of very quick left curve and turn, and maybe that's problem, I don't know.
Code 60 here at Kuwait Motor Town, and I think this is really sensible by race control. They want to have a good look around the track. They've found a little hole on the outside of turn 20, and they've told the teams to let their drivers know to stay off the curbs there. This is absolutely bizarre. Team Century's Aston Martin spewing some liquid from the back. That looks to be coming from the fuel filler. They'll have to get that car in and fix that straight away. That needs putting on properly. Still no good news for the Audi 116 of Wolf Power Racing. They did send the car out, but it's had to come straight back after a couple of laps. Those vibrations that were reported earlier on are still there. The mechanics are desperately trying to find the cause and fix the issue. They're a long way down and scored in last position. Let's stay with TCE, and the class leader is in for a standard pit stop. This is absolutely on schedule for AC Motorsports Audi. Stefan Perrin in the car and ready to go. Oh, but there's drama. It's going back into the pits.
We don't know what's happened. At the first corner, I hear one bang at the rear, and after the steering wheels is not online, it's a little bit at the right, and I prefer to go back in the pit for checking, but we don't know exactly at the moment what's happened exactly. Yeah.
So problems for their competitors has allowed the BBR number 159 back into the lead. It's taken them 85 laps to get back to the top spot of the TCE division. The GT4 class leader is the RHC Jurgensen Strom by Century BMW. They've stayed out of trouble, and that M4 GT4 looks in fabulous shape. Brett Strom coming back to the pits in a moment to hand over the car in overall 12th position. Darren Jurgensen will take it over. Great race so far for the US-based team.
We apparently nailed the setup on it because I was running my fastest laps at the end of the stint, which I frankly couldn't believe. This track is really fun. I think part of it was me actually finally learning the track all the way. But yeah, we were getting close to, I was getting close to qualifying times at the end there for what we ran. I don't know, the Hankook seemed to work really well here, and the track is like, there's not a ton of cars here, so there's not as much traffic, of course, but the track makes up for that because it's like, it's a challenge, so it's fun.
1/3 race distance at Kuwait Motor Town, and after 110 laps, CP Racing are ahead of Team GP Elite in second. Red Camel Jordan NL in third, lead the 992 Cup class from Team Kuwait by MRS in fourth position. In fifth, Team Razun More Than Racing are the best of the GTX cars, and Vili Motorsport are in sixth. QMMF by HRT Thuraya Kata in seventh, eighth HRT Performance. In TCE, BBR with the 159 car leading ahead of both cars of the Swiss team of Hoffer Racing by Bomb Motorsports. However, just 4 hours down, a lot can still happen, especially when we get to darkness. Just under 8 hours to go. The Mercedes-AMG GT3 looking good with Shane Lewis doing his first stint of the race, just trying to hold the gap back to Team GP Elite in second position. Jesse van Kuijk is behind the wheel there. We've had a few different pit stop strategies in the last 15 or 20 minutes, and that means the 992 class order has been shuffled just a little bit. Vili Motorsports by EB Motors, fourth overall, and now leading that class. They're keeping the Breukers family in the team Red Camel Jordan behind them so far. Rick Breukers now in the car and lapping around about the 1 minute 58 mark. GT4 leader on schedule into the pit stop. Team Century ready to go to work. New set of Hankook tyres, Bradley Ellis out, and then it'll be off for some racing fuel. Perfectly done, gentlemen. There's a fire at the top of the pit lane. Hytham Karajouli in the 714 KTM up by the penalty box. Marshals have got that put out very, very quickly though.
I came into the penalty box because it caught fire, because there's a fire extinguisher there, so it just suddenly caught fire. We were running fine, and then all of a sudden, big bang, and then caught fire.
It's more bad luck for Wolf Power Racing. This is definitely a race to forget. I think it's Jasmine Pricing in that car. I'm not sure how she can see over the bonnet, which has popped up. Brilliant job to get it back to the pit lane. I think that'll have to go back in the garage again. Another Audi with multiple problems. The 188 of AC Motorsport were leading this race, but several different issues on that Audi.
So the first problem was the rear hub. One of the bolts broke in the rear hub, which stopped us going. And then I went back out after we managed to locate the part, and then the big vibration from the front of the car. We thought maybe tyres, something, but now we're changing the brakes to see if this is the problem.
In the Every Cloud Has a Silver Lining category, the two Audi's problems have benefited the Swiss team of Hoffer Racing by Bonk Motorsport. Their two BMW M2s, 331 and 332, might not be the quickest, but they've been reliable, and they're just clicking off the laps. There's not much twilight in the Middle East at this time of the year, and once the sun goes down, it'll get very dark very quickly. The lighting is not all-encompassing, so the drivers will have to get used to where their braking points are. Our high-tech broadcast cameras actually make it look slightly brighter than it is. Lots of concentration required here from the drivers. Luke Breukers doing a pretty decent race at the moment. Back in the car, having started the 909. He's just taken over from his brother Rick, and they are ahead of their closest rivals, Vili Motorsport by EB Motors. Third position overall for this 992 Cup Class Porsche. Still in the overall lead, where they have been for 50 laps now. CP Racing, experience paying off during the night, and that is such a technically demanding circuit. Second place, Team GP Elite. Dan Van Gogh coming back towards the leader here. Seems to like the darkness. His lap times are brilliant. He's gaining every lap. Joe Foster will have to keep an eye on his mirrors. Third place now, Local Heroes. Team KUWAIT by MRS. They're on a slightly different pit stop strategy to Red Camel Jordan. In the TCE category, it's the 159 BBR. That's the Cupra Leon competition. They're in cruise mode now. Difficult to believe that someone can take this from them. The four Thai racing drivers leading the pack. 60 laps to the good on the rest of the field. Oh, this is brilliant. Around about 2.5 hours ago, this car was on fire with a hole in the engine block. The mechanics have changed the engine and the gearbox, and it looks like the KTM is going back out into the fight. The clamshell is closed, the new engine is fired, and Team Razun More Than Racing is back on track. Many laps down, but this is the spirit of endurance racing. There's the confirmation of the change of lead. We knew it was coming. Dan Van Gogh of Team GP Elite has been catching Charles Esplanade. He's now gone through. He's been putting in some fantastic laps in that orange Porsche as he comes through now. That's the fastest lap of the race overall on lap 194. He's really pulling away now. That's the GT4 leader. Even more drama here at Kuwait Motor Town. The number 450 Jurgensen Strom BMW is in strife. They've been in the top 10 overall. Brilliant run. That brings out a code 60. Oh, what a shame for those guys. Nathan Freak, the driver, reporting to the pits. He thinks he's run out of fuel. Oh, that's not very clever from the tow truck. Pulled a little bit too hard, and the towing eye has come off the BMW.
Yeah, it was frustrating. I had a pretty decent stint then. I guess I was coming to the end of it, and just at the end of the straight after turn one, big splutter. Trademark run out of fuel signs, which is weird because we've got a pretty comprehensive fuel counter on the dash, and we're within at least 10 litres, I guess. And then obviously a bit of shenanigans getting the car recovered.
Well, that code 60 actually came at a decent time for some of the front runners. They were able to pop into the pit lane and put half a tank of fuel in, as allowed by the regulations. As we go into the last third of the race, 7 of the top 8 positions are filled by Porsches, but not the one that counts. That's CP Racing in their AMG. They're ahead of Team GP Elite and Team Kuwait in the GT3 category. Then it's the Cup class Porsches, led by Red Camel Jordans, ahead of Vili Motorsports, HRT, QMMF by HRT Thuraya Kata, and then Rabdan Motorsports in 8th overall are 5th in their class. In TCE, it is still the BBR Leon competition with nearly half an hour of a lead back to Hoffa Racing by Bonk Motorsports and their 2 BMW M2s. Another drama for the second placed overall car. Team GP Elite's Porsche is touring back to the pit lane.
Yeah, again a flat tire. So, yeah, we're trying to guess or estimate where the end of the life of the tire is, but it's really difficult to say. I was in now more than an hour, so we had a lot of fuel because of code 60. And somehow it just, yeah, I don't know, it just goes. We're really taking it easy, like we're not driving flat out. Turn 19, turn 20, we don't even go on any curb, like maybe the red-white stripes. But so to be very honest, it's really also not nice to drive because you have to hold back all the time.
Well, that problem for the GP Elite Porsche has fallen very nicely for our overall leader, the AMG GT3 of CP Racing. They'll take the opportunity here to come in for a pit stop. Their lead at the moment, 5 minutes and 45 seconds. And that is Charles Esplanade getting out and Charlie Putnam getting in.
Yeah, you know, the CP Racing guys give us a great AMG Mercedes. The Hankook tires are doing awesome. We made a little adjustment with them, and then they're working perfect. Love the track, obviously, and it's even better at night. So it's just really taking care of the tire and not using a lot of the curbs. I notice a lot of the other guys are using a lot of the curbs, and I think there's some areas, since it's a new track, there's some sharp points on the concrete and stuff. And you know, we all know the Hankook can handle a lot of stuff, but I mean, there's no tire that's going to handle a puncture. So.
Well, that is the CP Racing car going back out onto the track. Still has 001 in the top right-hand side of the windscreen. That means it's back out without losing the lead. And now they've done one fewer stops than the Dutch number 32 Porsche in second position. Lucas Gronveld behind the wheel of the 32 orange Porsche at the moment and trying to gain on the leader, who's just gone past one of the Cup Porsches. That's the 979 Team Rabdan machine by Speed Lover, and that's gone off a little bit wide. That's the leader. Oh, he's going to spin. He's spun the car. He'll be all right there. He hasn't locked the tyres up. He lets it run back, but he's running to the gravel. I'm not sure he'll get that car out of there now.
Well, actually, I had just passed a Cup car coming onto the front straightaway. And believe it or not, those cars are faster than us with the lack of aero. They outrun us down the straightaway. And I saw him move out as we approached turn 1. I said, no way he'll try that. We're way too fast for him to stick. And he just kept coming. And he finally threw it in there. Then he went to the brakes when he realized he wasn't going to be able to make the turn. It drove me all the way out into the nasties. And I made things worse. I got out there, of course, the car spun, and I said, well, I'm going to be fancy here. I know where I am. I know there's nothing back here to hit. I'll just let the car come around, pull a gear, and drive out, make a minimum of this. Well, I let it come around into the gravel, so I was stuck.
So that swapped the race around again. Now CP Racing down to third after that trip to the gravel. That means Team Kuwait by MRS, the 47 car that was the pole sitter, is second behind Team GP Elite. Well, that's up at the chicane at turns 3, 4 and 5, and that's the second place car. One of the Bonk BMWs involved as well, but that's Team Kuwait's Porsche, well beached in the gravel. I don't believe it. That's going to take some time to get it out there. What a disaster for the local team. So Team GP Elite, with just over 2 hours remaining, have a gap of 5.5 minutes lead to CP Racing in second. The Lipa number 710 Lamborghini must be delighted with how the race is going so far. They came into the race with the worst possible starting position, dead last. They'd not done qualifying, only had a few laps of practice, had some problems in the early part of the race. Their team have been up all night getting the car ready for this, and now they lead the GTX category. There's a car off at turns 3, 4 and 5. It's the KTM, the Milwaukee Tools car. What a shame for them. They've fought so hard to get this car back on track. We've certainly had plenty of drama in the overall top 3, but let's not forget who's sitting in 4th at the moment. Red Camel Jordan.nl, Ivo Broikes with his sons Rick and Luke, currently 4th position, leading their class and just a couple of laps behind the podium. So Shane Lewis, who's back in the 85 car, he can't go all the way to the end, but he is pushing very, very hard indeed, trying to close the gap to Team GP Elite, who are leading. It's round about 30 seconds at the moment. Dan van Goijk took over the orange Porsche from Lucas Gronveld. He's only got to bring it home. There's a problem. He's almost lost the car. What gear is that? I'm not sure. Uncategorized, undrivable, unbelievable is what this is for the leader. My goodness me. Another leading car with problems. Now he's got third gear, but the car's not moving.
Well, I think when I was in the car, I already heard something weird with the car. So I know we all also had like a lot of flat tires. So I think there's something because of like driving like not like the right way. So I think there's something damaged maybe in the gearbox or differential. But yeah, I think we can't do much about it. I think we were like super quick the whole 12 hours. So it is what it is.
Terrible luck for GP Elite, their Pooley Porsche back in the pit lane on the back of a tow rope and a tow truck. But that's good news for another orange Porsche. Team redcannel.nl, 3rd position overall and leading their class. At the front of the field, CP Racing. Now with very little competition, but of course they've still got to bring that car home. What a year it's been for them. Now, as usual in Hankook 24-hour series races, one team gets rewarded before the checkered flag comes out. The Austrian team Razun More Than Racing gets the Spirit of the Race award for their tireless motivation to bring their car back onto track after hours in the pits.
First of all, congratulations to the whole team. They changed the total engine in approximately 2 hours. Afterwards, after 3 hours, we had to change the alternator. So great job of the guys, and yeah, it's a bit hard for us because overall we were in 4th position, leading really safely GTX class. But yeah, we never ever give up. So we came back stronger and looking forward to Dubai.
Well, all the teams that are leading their categories will hope that it's the end of the drama and they can just come home and take their coveted victories. 332, Hoffa Racing, 1st place in TC category. In the GT4 class, Century Motorsport with their Aston Martin Vantage AMR GT4 are leading and heading towards the checkered flag. In GTX domination, Leipert Motorsport 30 laps ahead of the second place Vortex V8 team. In the 992 Porsche Cup class, Red Camel Jordan.nl lead. It's the 955 LED lit Vili Motorsport by EB Motors in second. Third is the dark grey number 928 from HRT. The checkered flag is waiting for the number 85. The 12 Hours of Kuwait, the first running of this race, will be won by CP Racing, Charles Esplanade, Charles Putman, Shane Lewis and Joe Foster. 323 laps completed, a 2-lap victory, and they led 213 laps of the 323. Here come the local team. They had pole position, Team KUWAIT by MRS. They'll finish second. They've fought really hard for that. Brilliant stuff by the locally based team. Third position overall, 992 Cup class winner. It's the Dutch team, the Family Broikers. They'll be on the overall podium. The celebrations have started in the pit lane. Let's hear from our winners.
Thank you so much. These guys just worked so hard for this all year long. It's awesome to be here in Kuwait. Beautiful facility. Glad we got a chance to get this race going, and it was just, not many times am I speechless, but we worked so hard, and we thought we had it lost, and it came back to us. I pushed as hard as I could at the end. Everybody did an amazing job. You watch those pit stops, they were fantastic. Car was beautiful. Thank you for Mercedes for an AMG for an awesome car. Thank you to CP Racing, Charlie, all he does. Thank you guys for all you do, taking it home to all the fans.
Wow, you know, as we got into that last 30 minutes or so, just before the 32 car broke, you know, I said, well, you know, they've got us on pace, they're looking good. You know, this is, we're happy with this second place. And then I said, you know, the only thing would change that is something happened, you know, those guys. And you never wish that on anybody. In fact, I'm going to go down here as soon as we get through here and tell those guys a job well done, because they really did do a great job. But yeah, you never know. That's why they say it's not over till it's over.
There'll be celebrations down in Parc Fermé as well when Charles Esplanade gets back there. And meantime, third place overall seems to be a surprise for Luke Broikers.
They said third, you have to go underneath the podium. I was like, what? So yeah, really happy with that one. Yeah, it was a lot in the car, I think, and it was just a lot of fun. It was really competitive with Willy. Great job to them. We had a fun fight. It was really good today.
In the TCE division, once again, congratulations to the all-tie driving team from BBR. They put together a phenomenal race to win the 12 Hours of Kuwait. Ahead of Hoffer Racing by Bonk Motorsport. Their two BMW M2s finished second and third. And these Thai drivers know how to celebrate.
Yeah, we have like a really amazing year this season. We didn't think it's gonna happen in the beginning, but like in the end, it's like all pay off. Yeah, we have like a little issue during like on the 8 hour, and but the team did like really amazing. They put us back in the fight again. Oh well, they put us back on the track again, and after that we just like try to stay out of the trouble and get it back to here in one piece.
CP Racing's Charles Putman, Charles Esplanade, Joe Foster and Shane Lewis.
So to confirm then, CP Racing win the 12 Hours of Kuwait from local heroes Team Kuwait by MRS in second, Red Camel Jordan on the podium in third. In the TCE division, BBR are on the top step with Hoffer Racing by Bonk Motorsports in second and third. So here's the final ranking from the 24-hour series 2022 in Kuwait. CP Racing, the overall winner. They also take the trophy for the champion of the continents In second, Team Kuwait by MRS and Red Camel Jordan in third. Fourth place, VD Motorsport by EB Motors. HRT Performance in fifth, and in sixth, it's Rabdan Motorsport by Speed Lover. QMMF by HRT Thuraya Kata in seventh position, and a devastated Team GP Elite rounds out the top 8. Well, the first round of the new Middle East Trophy here at Kuwait Motor Town has delivered exactly what we were hoping for. Drama, heartbreak, deep disappointment, action, excitement, and of course for some, joy, relief and elation. This electrifying endurance racing series will be back on track in 6 weeks' time as we head about an hour's flight time south of Kuwait to the glittering metropolis of Dubai. It's the first round of the 2023 season and round 2 of the new Middle East Trophy. I'm John Hindorf. See you there.